In today's video, I'm going to talk about one of my favourite ever ideas, originally from Jordan Peterson, and that is that weak men are not virtuous. There's nothing virtuous about a man who has no capability to do any harm in a context of sexually to cheat on their partner or physically to overpower another human. If you don't have the capability for harm, you are not virtuous because you're not making an active choice to do the morally good thing. So I think Jordan Peterson compares a weak man to like a bunny rabbit. There's nothing virtuous about a bunny rabbit. It doesn't actively make a choice to spare the people around him from harming them. It isn't capable of harming, and therefore isn't moral because it's deciding not to. It's just existing and being. So if you're a weak man with no power, no ability to commit harm, no options, you are no better than the bunny rabbit. In fact, I'd argue you're a lot worse because you could be so much more. You could build yourself up to be powerful, competent, full of abundance of opportunities, and you could actually create a ripple in the world. So let me take you through a thought exercise. If you were walking behind someone and there was no one else around and they didn't see they dropped £100 out of their pocket and no one would know, no one could see, it's only at that point when you have an opportunity to receive or whatever that your morality is tested. Obviously, the person with the moral character would give that back to the other person. But let's imagine the person who would take that £100 and never tell anyone. Let's imagine he wasn't there. He never had the opportunity. Does that make him a good man? Just because he doesn't have the chance to take that £100? No. That's the same thing as being a weak man. Your morality is never tested if you're weak and pathetic and you aren't building up yourself to be a better version, a more attractive version, a more desirable, valuable person. The term high value man is very loaded nowadays with all the red pill and whatever, all that stuff. But if you aren't building up your value as a man, you aren't simultaneously testing your morality at the same time. Let's imagine now it was £1,000, 100,000, £1,000,000. The greater the abundance of opportunity you have as a man, the more your morality is tested. Because, you know, let's say one person who would see the £100, give it away, they might act a little differently if, let's say, it was 10,000, they'd probably keep 1,000 or two. The same could be true for if you're in a relationship and you're a low value guy in a relationship with a sort of very average, unattractive woman, and then, you know, extremely attractive woman comes over and tries to cheat with you. If you've never built up your value and you haven't become a high value person who has an abundance of opportunity and has built up their moral character over time by being exposed to more and more opportunity, and you're just this low value guy, you're probably going to just cheat. You haven't been tested. And that is what it means to be a weak man. You don't have the opportunities, and therefore you haven't been through the moral training ground, let's say, to build your moral character. So it's like a continuum where the more opportunity you have, the more high value you are as a person, the greater your moral strength has to be to remain loyal. And that builds you into a better person, because the person who could sleep with all the tens in the room but stays with their partner and doesn't cheat, that's the real man. The man who's in a relationship and is unattractive to all women and doesn't cheat, no one's like, oh wow, he must be such a great loyal guy, you know. This is why it's so important as a man to really build yourself up to be the most powerful, high value man, full of abundance, and then choose not to fall for the temptation, not to, you know, like become as strong as you possibly can, and then you choose not to harm anyone, not to threaten anyone, not to use your physical capabilities to overpower or your abundance of opportunities in relationship to cheat on anyone. And we've all seen this manifest in modern day with simps. You know, how often have you known that one simpy guy who's like friend zoned with this girl, who's getting, you know, he's getting ploughed and cheated. Like, this girl's getting played around by all these sort of alpha male jocks, whatever. And the guy who's a simp is like, I treat you so much better. If only you were with me, I would be so loyal and give you all the attention in the world. And it's so easy to say that when you have absolutely no options and no other girls want to be with you. And I'd argue, if a magic wand was sort of like cast a spell on that person, and then all of a sudden he became attractive to all women, I bet you he'd be the very first to plough through as many women as he possibly could, because he's coming from a place of lack. He's coming from a place of scarcity, and he's resentful to all the other men that are more attractive to him, and he places himself on a moral on a high horse, thinking that he's the most, you know, I'm not like other men. I'm not like all these other men. I'm just so, you know, I would treat you so good, baby. It's just ridiculous, because it really changes the game when you actually have the opportunity to sleep with every girl in the room if you wanted to. You only become a real man when you have all these opportunities and then do the correct moral thing and choose to. It's the choice that makes you virtuous, not the not doing it. If you're not doing these bad deeds, but you don't have the opportunity to do the bad deeds, there's nothing about that that makes you virtuous. It's the man that can do the harm and chooses not to. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more, check out this other video on reticular activating system, which is one of my favourite all-time topics and paradigm shifts for me when I learnt about it myself. So check out that video. If you like the video, subscribe for more, and I'll see you next week. Cheers.